Perfect. Okay, so hello. Thank you for taking the time to join this final chat. As the drop is reaching its end, this is really a chance to capture your insights, what worked, what surprised you, and what you believe other cities can take from this experience. Um, Around this digital table, we have you as representatives of municipalities, which can give a very realistic feedback straight from the source. So yeah, we'll keep this just as a conversation, and just to set a little bit the context for those who will follow later. DROP is an developed and tested an integrated renovation methodology in Santa Ana, Ermua from the Basque Country. And this was supported by peer learning from Elva in Estonia and Matera in Italy. Together, you helped shape a model that brings co-governance, digitalization, cultural and creative insights, and of course, economic development into a one renovation pathway. So yes, when theory meets practice, things always change. So my first question would be, what changed between co-governance model on paper and the one that actually worked in Santa Ana, and yeah, of course, then also for Elva, what you managed to test.
Thank you, Andrea. Well, I think at least in the case of Santa Ana, for us, we were very keen at the beginning to follow the eco-governance like model, but at the end, looking at the population of the neighborhood and how like it was mostly composed by like some like a big percentage of immigration, also like a current older population, then we realized like even if on paper it was very structured, we had to 100% simplify it and adapt it to the local context, because we couldn't tell the neighbors, listen, you are part of the executive commission and you're part of this other commission. Like they would not understand, and probably we think that type of like terminology could have like hindered a little bit participation. So at the end, we were just like trying to make participation something way more approachable and close to people, so that they could find it easier to participate and not find like a barrier.
Yeah, I really much agree with Marta, because in Elva, the residents have very individualistic outlook. And it's very typical for a small town neighborhood, because this privacy is highly valued. So we also tried this co-governance model to like step by step, but we reached to the point that we acknowledged that is too much for the neighborhood. The main goal was simply to involve the residents and to hear their views. And I think that the simplified approach was like a better, because it made easier us to like engage people, encourage voluntary participation. Also, it helped to identify these local activists. We call them spark persons, and they were like they were like very easy to speak with if there wasn't like very many structures. So. Um, mm, they were like a little bit suspicious also, because there were no tangible results to show yet what's going to be happening. So it takes a lot of time and requires this enthusiastic leadership also, and very consistency to like from the local government. So we also had to simplify.
Okay, so what I hear is that we do need something on paper to be able to get organized, but then definitely, yeah, make it as something that everyone understands and that wants to get involved even after getting home from work.
Yes.
Not feeling like it's a second job. Yes, so yeah, I think you also touched a bit upon this. Trust and participations are, yeah, this cannot be done without them. So, what surprised you the most about how residents or other stakeholders engaged, and yeah, how their reactions shaped the process?
Well, in the case of Santa Ana, it is true that when we arrived, we realized that like people had a lot of skepticism. They were very much not against the municipality, but like they had felt for a long time that they had been rejected from the municipality, that the municipality had never put them as a priority in their activities and in the budget or anything. So when we tried to tell them that we were going to do something tailored for the Santa Ana neighborhood, they were a little bit like, I'm not sure if I trust it. I don't know, like I don't think nothing comes from the municipality ever. Like it's not really like you want to pretend that it is participatory, but it's actually not going to be the case. Like, we had a lot of barriers from the people. But for us, something that worked very well was to start with small changes. We conducted an activity called Mapathon. And with that, people could identify like very small things that they wanted to start changing in the neighborhood before all these like big plans of like public squares and so on. They were like, well, maybe this part of like this tree is not well kept, or I don't know, this pavement is like a little bit loose, and like I think it could be dangerous for people. So when the municipality started like responding to these small changes, and people could see like actually what I've said is being implemented, then I think that was like a hook for a lot of people, and then it sort of formed like a group of people who were always attending in the future workshops and sessions because they could see that there was a real value in their participation. So something that was very important for us was demonstrating that like small early interventions were like key to gain their trust.
Okay, and also I was very surprised how distant the residents were from communication with the local government. Uh, they didn't think that such initiative could come from the municipality at all, and nor the initiative could lead to improvements in their community and neighborhood. So only a long series of meetings and discussions eventually led to the community to share the conversation. So um, yes, I think it's very surprising. I didn't know it's like that.
Yeah, seems like maybe one of unintended results of the project is actually opening the eyes and creating an actual relationship between the resident and the municipality. Voting is not sufficient, let's say. Um, so from all these exchanges and the many, many encounters, what was a moment that stayed with you? Some reaction or piece of feedback or activity that was really, you remember it, yeah, even now, maybe it's funny in a way that you learned something. Yeah.
I must apologize for the sound because there's some construction work going on. I don't know if you can hear it. Is it very disturbing for the
No.
sound? No?
No,
Okay.
but we trust that renovation is going on then in
Yes, everywhere apparently. So for us, a very interesting event was one that we organized not long ago. We called it Energy Day. We realized that in previous events related especially to energy, we had conducted like very formal workshops where we were just hoping for people to attend like a workshop session in which they would be sitting down and listening to like a technical person just like telling them information, And we thought maybe let's try a different thing, because even if the weather could be a little bit like off, we thought if we go to the street and we just make it a little bit more fun. We put some music, we put some like hot chocolates, and we create something with like gamification. Maybe some people who we haven't like achieved to attract before, like maybe certain population, like there is like an immigrant population, or like a children, or like the elderly that have never attended one of these like technical talks. Maybe I don't know, they hear the music and they just come to see what's going on. And actually, that's what happened. We organized like a energy related workshop, but it had to do with doing like very easy stands where you can like sign a passport and then like get a little gift and have some like music. The vibe was more like festive, and like a lot of people came more than ever. And as we said, as we thought it could happen, a lot of people who never had joined the project started showing up just because they had interest on what was going on. And we thought, like, I don't know, sometimes the innovation is not that much in like all these technical aspects or smart city concepts or whatever. Sometimes it's in the ability for us of translating like very technical concepts into like something that is more like accepted by the people, that is more like close to the people, like something more accessible. So that's sometimes like when we learn that we can innovate in the ways of doing things and not necessarily in the end itself.
Yeah, also in Elva, I was very surprised of the sudden enthusiasm that emerged among these residents during the final two meetings, because we went to the site in the neighborhood, and also we shared some candies and some soda, and also IBS and Ekul was there, and they made a little movie about this neighborhood. So everybody was like very cheery and very participating, and I think that was the two times we went to the site, and these two times were like very practical, and the people were like very like getting together, chatting, having sharing ideas. So I think it's not very surprising, but I think that these. These were the two highlights of the project. So if you go to the residents, it's better than you expect them to come to you, because you have to like make a step.
Yeah, indeed. I think also like as you were saying, Janika, there's this kind of conversations that are created out of like a more open and festive environment are not usually created with any other like more formal workshops. Like that just happens that like people are having fun, they're comfortable, and they want to stay. And then the conversations are usually around the topic of the workshop. So that's like a value that usually you don't achieve if you do more formal sort of workshops.
And also maybe they can have a better like visualization of the area, what can be there, because also we put some chairs, some this squishy bags to sit on, and they were like having a good time with the neighbors. They are not doing there right now, so.
So improvisation and really creating a human connection is indeed going a long way. So now we talked about peer learning process. Drop relied a lot on some cities with a lot of experience. What was your experience of learning from each other? Could you share maybe an example of something you rethought or adapted after having an exchange with Elva, Matera, Ermua?
Well, in our case, like sadly, because we were like for good or bad, because we were this a city who was implementing things at the beginning for others to replicate, we were just like just jump into the pool sometimes. So it would have been fantastic to also have some reference before. But something that I 100% realized, or maybe like a thought that was clear after seeing the implementation of the project in Matera and in Elva, was the importance of political will as well. That became very, very clear as matters in Elva. They implemented the projects to the extent that they had to implement, but we can see that they have all the willingness, all the intention of continuing the projects and actually implementing them further, even if they don't have to. That really shows like political commitment. And also, unfortunately, in Matera, we saw the opposite, no? Like some political commitment at the beginning, but once that commitment was away, it was completely difficult to implement the projects. And that made me realize like we need this project to be as much bottom up and with public participation and so on, as for like top down. If any of those processes fail, like I think the project is difficult to be implemented.
Mm-hmm. Also, I think that these spatial interventions that Santa Ana had seemed like very good experiments, and that could have a very good, a very big effect here also. We didn't have them. We tried to do some little things like this beautiful balcony contest to uh, make this neighborhood more connected to each other. And also they went to see the good examples in this other city. So I think that if we maybe had organized some kind of public event to come and make themselves something, a little change in this neighborhood, so it could be helped to get this point quicker. But as you mentioned also, Marta, that we are trying to do this things we thought out together. So we try to continue with them. I don't know how it's going to be because we are also this political stuff is now changing. So I have to explain all these things I wanted to do on this next 4-year budget. Let's see how it's gonna be, but we'll try. So I think that is a very good thing to keep in mind, that these small interventions there are very good. And as I saw, there were they were good in Santa Ana. The people liked them and tried these things themselves. So.
Great. Thanks a lot for sharing that. So the next question in a natural order would be to talk a bit about replication and transferability, because this renovation was this methodology was tested in Ermua, but it's not meant to be a tailored made thing. So what elements of this methodology could be easily replicated in your opinion, and what should always be thoroughly adapted?
Well, for me, something to replicate, like an easy step to start a process like this is to start probably making a diagnosis. That's the basis to have good information, and then to open any type of listening activity towards the neighborhood. You can ask for their opinion in many ways. So the way doesn't really matter. The point is to start with a diagnosis and then to start listening. Something that has to be adapted probably is the governance, a governance model that we have been talking about before, and probably the communication, because every neighborhood has its own context and rhythm and so on. So maybe the core principles can be kept, but then the tools have to be adapted in any case to every neighborhood.
Yeah, I also consider that this profile of residents is very important. If you know how the community is doing, if they are willing to attend the meetings outside the neighborhood, or if there is necessary to find a spokesperson from each building, or does this kill the initiative of the others? It's very important how you try to engage them. So what is the profile? So I think this is this is the first step, and it's very easy to replicate how you getting know to your community. So so I think this is the main point, I think.
Maybe also another point that has worked for us, at least in Santa Ana, is to maybe not or stop thinking of definite solutions, but more experimental, tactical urbanism, for example, solutions in which you can implement something that is temporary, then gather feedback, and then make some adjustments later. To not think that at the first time you're gonna get the right solution for the neighborhood, but more to do flexible interventions so that you can readapt as you go. That has been something that can be replicated and that has worked very well.
Yeah. Also, I thought that this digital solutions are very highly expected or something, but actually we noticed that people don't want to attend digitally. We even made this platform for this neighborhood to a map you could put a point and write there what would you like to be there. They prefer the paper, not this digital. So it's you have to like consider who the people are living there, if they want these digital solutions or they just want to talk to you.
Yeah, so we did our job. We presented what's possible, and
Yeah.
now they just have to pick them and test them, and then see how it works in practice. Okay, so yeah, to sum up, if you had to summarize your experience of the drop project in more or less one sentence, what would that be? And maybe also, what would you like to see happening next in your city or in other cities? What are your wishes for any potential replicators?
I'm not sure if I'm going to manage to say it in a sentence, but maybe for me is that we have to we have to lose the fear of experimenting and of participating. Because if we are talking of innovation, it's because the probability of failure is very high. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called innovating or experimenting. Otherwise, it would be called something else. And obviously, once we ask the neighbors what to do or what they want, it could be that the answer we get is not the one we expected, but the commitment is taken when we ask the people, not after we have the answer and depending on the answer. Like the commitment is taken already, so we have to. It requires to take like a leap of faith and like to do things without knowing the result. And regarding what I'm hoping is that my municipality, all this political sphere continues trusting the process as we go and not having to have everything like all controlled and knowing that like obviously some things are gonna go wrong, but still like trusting on this process and trying to replicate it on the other neighborhoods, and hopefully other cities are also inspired to take this journey and experimenting with their own neighborhoods.
Okay, and I also hope that this experience helped to wake up a little bit this Norse neighborhood residents, that and they can be more passionate about their home. So and I hope that this area will be like a little lighthouse for the similar neighborhoods in Elva. Why not across Europe?
Yeah, thank you very much. In any case, as a silent follower, it was very inspiring to see from day one until the end of year three what happened in each of your cities. And yes, what you shared today is exactly what would help us keep the legacy of Drop alive, not just the project, whether it's EU funded or not, but yeah. And like Marta very nicely put, you take the commitment, then you go forward. It's a journey that can happen. Also, replicators will be freely to talk to each other. That's always better. And yeah, this is what neighborhood-scale renovation should look like. Putting people in the center, using creativity and collaboration, which sometimes it's a word that for some is scary, but is definitely worth on the long term. Yeah, so thank you very much. And yeah, we'll stay connected.
Yeah, thank you for the
Thank
journey.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.